Chapter 2. What Women Want from Men. Society tells us that we should buy girls drinks and flowers, be polite, kiss ass, and be an all-around nice guy. However, when we follow this advice, we get terrible results. Why? For millions of years, women wanted protection, power, and safety from their men. It became a part of their gene that they needed real men. These are innate survival instincts. In the primitive years, females were attracted to physically strong guys with big muscles. Back then, a guy with big muscles could protect his territory from intruders and hunt for food. He also had good genes and would make good offspring. So if a girl chose him to father her babies, they had a much better chance of survival. With time, this reasoning behind the mate choice became instinctual and encoded into her unconscious selection process. Animals do the same thing when choosing a mate. They don't run this process through logic about who will provide the best offspring, and they feel something, an urge in their body, butterflies in their belly, towards a particular mate. This is the same way a girl feels urges towards certain types of guys. We call that feeling attraction. During the dark stages, if a female could mate with a strong, dominant, masculine man or a weak guy with little power, there was no doubt that she would choose the masculine guy. Let's come to terms with our reality. Today, girls are still attracted to dominant males because it has become wired in them through evolution. Things are quite different in today's world. It isn't just the most muscular guy with a chance for survival, although women still find this attractive. It is also the guy with the most social power and confidence who dominates our world. The man with high status, confidence, and ability to get what he wants from the world is the modern macho man. And women are programmed to be attracted to men who display these masculine qualities because it's built into them right into the right hemisphere. Parentheses, we will discuss further as we progress. End parentheses. Today, things like being well-learned, rich, socially connected, or having a model body create automatic attraction from females. Nonetheless, the feeling behind those things, friends, muscles, and money is the same. It all comes down to protection and safety. Well, I come bearing good news. You don't need to have much money or look like Dwayne Johnson to convey that you are the man. You need to learn to transmit to women through behavioral traits that signal you can offer them safety and protection. Remember, she's wired on an instinctual level to pick up on these subliminal signals, and her body will subconsciously respond with appropriate feeling of attraction. Learn to behave like a man who controls the world around him. A real man is never lost. You are not some stray chump. Tap into the innate attraction circuitry of a woman's brain and instantly become irresistible to her. How the female brain works, left and right brain dichotomy. The only way to know what women want from men is to figure out how a woman thinks. It is also the easiest way to understand male and female interactions. The human brain has two hemispheres. They are the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere. On the surface, they look like the same, but are highly specialized regions, and their functions differ. The left side mostly deals with speech, logic, arithmetic, and reasoning. It's the logical side of the mushy mass inside your skull. The right side is more tuned to abstract things like feelings, creativity, dreaming, and imagination. It's the emotional and creative side of your brain. Everything we consider instinctively and reflective, things we do without thinking, are stored in the right side of our brain. This is where the animalistic unconscious mating partners are encoded. Albeit we are not animals, we are the only species with a highly developed and logical brain on this earth. This is why we control Mother Earth. We are striving to control other planets. We have had this logical brain for hundreds of thousands of years, but only in the last few years have we started to harness its power. Other animals also have logical sides of their brains, but they are not as highly developed as ours. They are living mostly by their basic instincts. When I say basic instincts, I mean survival instincts like searching for food, staying alive, and reproduction and mating. The closest animal to humans in terms of logical ability of the brain are other primates like apes. The marked difference between us and primates is that we developed the left logical side far more than they did. Everything you see around you, your phone, computer, the car you drive, our civilization is made possible because of this sole reason. If you were to remove that logical brain with all the social programming, stored behavior, knowledge, and other things we learned from our society, we would behave like monkeys. The easiest way to demonstrate how people behave out logic is to get them drunk. As we know, alcohol shuts down the left hemisphere of the brain. Look at what happens at the nightclubs and bars when people drink lots of alcohol. It becomes clear. Males try to protect their territory and their partners. They fight and display dominance and status. They prowl for mates and try to attract them like any other animal. Females try to gain protection and comfort from their group, so they circle their friends and try to fend off strangers away. They dance to display their physical attractiveness. This is called courtship behavior. With a lot of alcohol, their left brain slows down, social programming goes down, and they start to behave more promiscuously. They are controlled by their most basic instinct and sex drive.
Promiscuously.
This is why many people get together under the influence of alcohol. People tend to say that girls are easy when they are drunk. That is true, but not entirely. While their logical brain is down, girls are driven by their emotions and instincts. They aren't thinking for a reason not to kiss or have fun with somebody because reasoning is offline when drunk. They do not think about the consequences at this point, but this is why they often wouldn't call or date guys with whom they had a drunken one night stand. When they wake up the next day, the logical side of the brain is online again, and they realize they chose the wrong guy. Men often think predominantly with their left logical brain. When choosing a mate, women think mainly with their right emotional brain. This is why we have communication gaps between the genders. Most men can't understand why even after doing everything right and trying to logically convince a girl into dating or having sex with them, it doesn't work even though everything seems perfect logically. Get this fact now. You cannot explain a girl into liking you. You cannot argue your way into her pants. Attraction is emotional and cannot be reasoned or argued into existence. You must appeal to her right brain instincts and emotions to succeed with her. The main reason men and women don't seem to understand one another lies in this fact. Guys are logical while girls are emotional. Many decisions women make depend on how they feel at that moment. Their emotions dominate their decision making in ways men can't always relate to. Women behave the way they feel in the moment. That's why they act so crazy. Don't you ever try to change a girl's mind using logic. Instead, change her feelings, and her decisions will automatically change. For instance, if a girl doesn't feel anything towards you and doesn't want to be with you, don't try to argue with her to change her decision to be with you. Instead, steer the conversation in ways that will change how she feels. If you succeed in changing her emotions, her decisions change by default. Sometimes it's hard to explain female behavior, almost impossible even, because they are driven by constantly changing emotions, and their behavior changes as soon as their emotions change. The two parts of their brain are constantly fighting with each other. This is why women, especially younger girls, behave so strangely. One day they like you, and the next day they don't answer your phone calls. Some girls try to mask their emotional side. On the surface, the only thing visible is the logical side. However, you must still operate to appeal to her emotions. Under the surface, that is still what's running the show. A lot of guys face real big problems when they try to seduce women with logical bullshit. Girls hate logic. You can't talk with them like your male friends. You can't engage their emotional brain with boring topics like business, your job, sports, politics, and your car. If you look at why they are attracted to fast cars, you will also see that besides social status, it drives their emotions crazy. Adrenaline and speed are a big turn on for women. Sometimes a girl might reject you and push you away despite being attracted to you. They have their weird programming that she might appear cheap if she opens up. This is part of the weapons of manipulation they wield. So girls are wired to put up some resistance, even with a guy they desire badly. They do this to prove that they are not sluts and to make you work a little harder. To a woman, a no doesn't mean never. It might mean try one more time. One of my girlfriends, when I met her, she told me to fuck off 3 times. As a man that fully understood his dick powers and could read the unsaid words, I knew she meant the opposite of what came from her lips. Then a month later, she told me that from the moment I approached her, she wanted to have sex with me. I asked her why. She tried to push me off. She said she would be too easy if she jumped on me immediately. So she pushed me away so that most guys would give up. It doesn't make much sense, but it's what it is. If I had bought into words, however illogical, we never would have begun dating. Instead, I read her frame, body language, and maintained my strong frame, and was able to steer things in the direction I wanted. You must understand that her brain is constantly fighting with itself. Logic against emotions. Whenever you talk with a woman, be aware that things she said may not always be what she wants. Sometimes observe that they verbally tell you one thing and indicate the exact opposite with their bodies. As a rule, things she says come from her logical brain, while things her body does from her emotional brain. Always trust her body language and what she does than what she says. What she says comes more from social programming and magazines than what she does, which is hardwired and never wrong. Trust what her emotional brain is telling you and use it to meter how you are doing and what you need to do next. So to answer why most hot girls go for jerks, as we asked in the opening paragraph, it is not too hard to understand, but let me explain it to you even more. I can say from my experience where I had a few years of being mispleased girls and a long history of being a jerk towards girls, when she thinks logically, a woman would never consider being with a jerk ass. But when she finds herself with one, neither can she explain how it happened. If you ask her, she will tell you that the guy frustrates her and she still can't resist him. It's stronger than logic. They feel attracted to those guys because they are more confident and go for what they want. And women unconsciously like to be controlled by more powerful men. So understanding these things helps us understand why a hot girl goes for an asshole. He conveys, often accidentally, all of the man qualities she is wired to seek out because of her evolutionary programming, and at the same time stirs lots of emotions in her. The nice guy conveys nothing masculine and gives her one emotion. Love is sweet, but it becomes boring and monotonous after a while. And if it is given too early and easily without the girl having to earn it, its value is insignificant. If a woman were choosing guys, logically she would never consider being with a jerk. But we see it always happen. Nonetheless, there is a middle ground where you can be masculine and take her on the emotional roller coaster without being an asshole. That is the realm of the powered man. As a man who understands and lives by the powers of the dick discussed herein, I consciously convey all the powerful manly qualities she seeks and make calculated decisions that manipulate her feelings without abusing them. I do it just enough to give her the thrills she subconsciously wants, but I don't intentionally hurt her. It's similar to being a jerk in how we are assertive and lead them, but with the idea of making the interaction a win situation rather than narcissistically one-sided. Keep these to heart. 1. Women are wired biologically to seek certain traits in a mate. The underlying reasons for desiring these traits are protection and the safety of self and offspring. 2. These desires are subliminal and controlled by the left brain. 3. Women are emotional creatures and men are logical beings. 4. To control a woman, take control of her emotions. 5. Listen to what her body says, not what her mouth says.